Hey, everybody, it's Ted here. I'm here with Paul, and this is Slap Hits. Every couple of weeks, we diverge from our tales of baseball past to check in on the season. What are the storylines that we're seeing that capture our attention? What's got us excited about today's game? It's not just about yesterday's game. Paul, today is July 21st, 2026, the day upon which we record this. So take it away, Paul. Slap a hit.
So I want to slap a compliment to my favorite team, the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers, as of today, have 63 wins against 37 losses. That is the most ever by a Brewers team through 100 games. Good job, Brewers. This beats their record of 2025 when they had 60 wins through this point in the season. So, just as we've discussed on the show, I like to talk about how well the Brewers are doing. They're doing really good right now. Just putting that out there. So when we last talked, Ted, it's been a minute since we slapped a few hits. We were talking a little bit about the All-Star game, and I was stumping for Pete Crow Armstrong, who has been one of the best players in baseball this season. At this point, I would say not too bold of a claim to make. But you will recall that I suggested that PCA not be mic'd up during the game. There have been some verbal miscues, malapropisms.
He's great to look at.
Well, and that's exactly what we're going to get to.
Seen but not heard, perhaps.
Well, they put a mic on him. He was out in center field during the All-Star game, chatting away. I thought he gave one of the better interviews that they got. And the whole night was, let's talk to people during the game, which broadly I found to be sort of painful and distracting and not the right direction to go. Dylan Cease gave an interview while pitching. Did you see this? I mean, he acted like he was being deposed. You signed up for this, man. It's not like they just started chirping in your ear. At some point, you put the microphone there, but the hostile witness. So I thought PCA was very genial.
Anybody with a ponytail should be pretty chill about that sort of thing. If you're going to wear the pony while you pitch, you got to be ready to chit chat.
He was very stoic. But PCA was great. He talked about what outfields he liked to play in. I thought it was amusing that he included Dodger Stadium on that list without any evident irony. And he talked about how great the Chicago Bears were going to be. Very excited about that. But to your point about seen and not heard, what I found so fascinating about that interview is they mostly kept the camera on him. They did kind of the picture-in-picture to show you what was happening at the plate, but they kept a camera on him. And the guy was constantly moving, like not just twitching, not just fidgeting. You could see his eyes locking into what was happening down at the mound and the plate. And there was something that he needed to do with his body and his positioning every time the pitcher threw the ball, every time the batter made contact. He had to do something. And he's rattling on about how fun it is to go to Soldier Field when it's cold out. And like his laser eyes would just seize on, and he never got a defensive chance on camera, I don't think. But I saw him do something, making him getting ready to be in sort of a tertiary backup triple fail-safe situation if he needed to be. It was really cool to watch that, and it really helped me understand why he has the best defensive range of any player in baseball, essentially. But it was a nice reminder, especially when we're talking about the All-Star game and the best players. It was really nice to sort of see what we don't see when we're watching the game on television. And some of the excellence in baseball can be really quiet. So I thought that was showed off in that segment.
It's a great point. I mean, I went to a Division I baseball game this last season and had a similar experience with a quieter stadium, could stand really near the outfielders and saw that same thing. Like, I don't think it's unique to Pete Armstrong. I remember there was a Jordan Walker interview. And when they do, I think when they do the on-field mic, you can hear them. Sometimes they say out loud what they're doing, or you hear them huffing and puffing. And it accentuates, I think, the effort that you're talking about. "Oh, there you go. Bring it, bring it. Okay, come down." Yep,
Yep.
what? Like,
Yeah.
the thought process
Yeah.
that the body is responding to. It's not just picking dandelions out in right field anymore. Uh,
Not even in the All-Star game.
I missed most of the All-Star game. I missed all the All-Star game, but I did see the home run derby. Um, Jordan Walker won the home run derby. Feel like, it's a home run derby. Someone's gonna hit more home runs than the other person, and they're gonna win it. I watched it at home. I was wearing a gigantic blue glove that Geico sent me in the mail as I watched it.
Mine
Um,
was late. Can you believe it?
I share a name with Jordan Walker, a last name that's always fun. Home run derby, uh, pretty boring at the end of the day. It's one thing over and over. You get to see who the pitcher is going to be. That's always kind of charming. Is it their dad? Is it their old coach? Um, Jordan Walker brought us another narrative, though. I mean, as soon as you try to count out baseball, or something being a little boring and a little played out, next thing you know, Jordan Walker's parents are in the stands
Mhm.
wearing their bright Cardinals jerseys in an ocean of Phillies fans as Jordan Walker goes up against Philly Kyle Schwarber to win the home run derby. And then all of a sudden, baseball performs its magic again. Um, Parent cam, we've talked about the sort of overdoing of
Yeah.
the glorification of the parent role for the new player. Well, again, they blew it up. Me watching Jordan Walker's parents during the home run derby was absolutely my favorite component of the whole thing and had me hanging on every pitch. He's going up against a Philly. What do Philly fans do in this scenario? They just rain boos down upon a home run derby participant. I mean, what are you even booing? Boo to your ability to hit a home run off of a 50-mile-per-hour pitch. Boo. And
Santa Claus got booed, man.
but it's his parents in the middle of this sea of booing as their son just goes out and in the most relaxed fashion you could possibly imagine, popping one home run after the next. I thought that was a pretty fantastic way to bring some meaning to the home run derby that I did not expect. Later learned that Walker earned $1 million for winning the
Mhm.
home run derby. Schwarber got $500,000, so what makes it, I guess, a $500,000 final home run that he hit. Pretty good.
Mhm. Mhm.
My daughter also reported to me several days later that Jordan Walker's parents went to MIT and to Harvard.
Mm.
Fantastic. That closes out my home run derby story. I thought it was worth noting, just when you thought the home run derby would not be interesting at all.
The new format really worked, and he gave it a real trial and showed how well thought out that was to just let somebody keep going again. That's the way to
Keep
do it.
keep going, and also I realized too that uh, the ability to watch the particular hit and whether or not it's going to be home run. Like when you're on the clock, and I just didn't think of this, you got to keep hitting, hitting, hitting.
Yeah.
You can't really watch the home run land.
Yeah.
But in this format, everyone can collectively watch that one home run. I thought that absolutely the way to go.
Much better. He earned more for the home run derby than he's making, I think, in his salary this
I,
because that's
I think I
baseball.
I would have maybe enjoyed it less if I'd known that in real time.
The best players play in poverty, at least for a little while. So, next thing for me, a little mashup here. Some recent history and some older history, but a few weeks ago, we had a historic game in Sacramento, California, of all places, when Max Muncy and Max Muncy faced off in the major leagues for the first time.
Mm.
And I think most people watching or listening to this probably know that we have two Muncies. They're both third basemen, one with the Dodgers and one more recently with the A's. They were born on the same date, drafted in the same round, And the thing I love is that these two Maxes are also baseball's first two Muncies ever. So miracle is a bit strong of a word here.
You're gaining a reputation as baseball's namesmith.
I'm just on a kick right now, but that's where I am. But this is a low stakes miracle. But in the second inning of that game on June 29th, third baseman Max Muncy grounded out to third baseman Max Muncy, or he hit a ground ball too. He made it on base. But either way, Max Muncy to Max Muncy, and someday, Ted, the robot who replaces me at Project 318 is going to be writing about this stuff, and we're living it right now.
The 50-year the wine has to age for that long, right?
That's exactly right. 50-year rule. And thinking about the Muncies, and yes, I've been on this name kick, but this thinking about the Muncies feat brought me to a little story about a few other A's players of long ago. We have to start with a guy named Ralph Siebold, who was actually one of the original Athletics when the team was established in the American League in Philadelphia in 1901. He appeared with those Athletics. He was a big-bodied outfielder, and he became a favorite of Connie Mack, who was the manager and a part owner, eventual owner, who founded that franchise. So Ralph Siebold had a nickname, and the nickname was Sox. Nobody really knows why. So Mack was such a fan of Sox Siebold that when he needed to send a trusted veteran to collect a promising rookie, guy by the name of Joe Jackson, who would famously one day lose his shoes, I love that Connie Mack sent Sox Siebold to get him. Jackson was so terrified of leaving his home in Greenville, South Carolina, that he kind of escaped a couple times, but Siebold delivered him safely back to Philadelphia. So he basically retired after 1908, but Connie Mack and the A's kept going. And in 1915, the A's signed a new pitcher, and this guy's name was Harry Siebold. Okay? No relation, and in fact, the names are even spelled a little differently, but they sound the same. Still, this is a major coincidence. Siebold's don't just grow on trees. And Connie Mack, who was supreme in Philadelphia, he's the boss in every sense of the word. Nobody's firing him. He runs the show. He decided to manufacture a little bit of that Max Muncy magic. And he told Harry that going forward, he was going to be called Sox. And so he was for his whole career. Next, over to you, Ted.
Next. Okay, I was watching a Midwestern matchup between the Cleveland Guardians and the Minnesota Twins. Down here in Texas, Midwestern baseball like that in such an unadulterated form is like a fine exotic liqueur. Chase DeLauter came up for the Guardians. He's their 3-hole hitter. He's having a good year. I don't know what the numbers are, batting 280, 12 homers, something like that. Turns out he's a West Virginia native, which I did not know as I watched this random Guardians Twins game. And I didn't know what his walk-up song was, but then I'm watching the game. So Take Me Home, Country Roads. Great song. Doesn't matter where you're from. But as this familiar country rock anthem played, all of a sudden it cut. And the crowd, in unison, yelled up something absolutely, it sounded like West Virginia. But then I thought to myself, wait a minute. Chase DeLauter, West Virginia. The crowd was yelling Chase DeLauter in place of West Virginia. Did a little checking just to make sure I could believe my ears, but to encounter such a charming collaboration between DeLauter by picking the song, the PA person who cuts it at the right time, and the crowd all yelling in unison Chase DeLauter instead of West Virginia. It was a delightful moment.
See, I'm not the only one who's in the names and the clever wordplay right now. You're right down here with me, man.
Yeah.
That's very precious stuff.
All right. Close us out here, Paul.
So I like to keep it light here, Ted. You know,
Mm.
I'm a creature of lightness generally.
You just dance across the surface. Yeah.
Yeah, there's an effervescence to me, I would say. Uh, but I have my feelings, and they're not all pleasant. And I have some feelings that I need to let out. And I have a podcast, so that's
This
what
is
you're supposed to do.
this is the
Is my
place.
understanding.
Yep.
So the other thing is, I recently disclosed my age in one of our episodes, and I'm not going to redisclose, but I am going to own it. I'm not old enough to be a proficient cloud yeller just yet, but I'm close enough. And I saw a recent monstrosity hovering over Miami, Florida. I need to give it some attention. So on July 5th, the Marlins starter, Eury Perez, had not just a no hitter, but a perfect game through 7 innings. He had thrown just 92 pitches at that point. He had 6 more batters to get, meaning it is theoretically possible that he could have thrown both a perfect game and a Maddox if those last couple of batters got antsy and swung at first pitches. But Eury Perez did not get a perfect game, did not get a no-hitter, did not even get a shutout or a complete game because the Marlins pulled him after 7 innings with a perfect game. And Ted, they're killing baseball. They're killing it. It's gone too far. I know we're never going to have another 300 game winner. I know that the starter role is not what it once was, and starters are now 5 and dive guys, if that. I don't care that Eury Perez is coming back from an injury to whatever degree that is in fact the case. I doubt Eury Perez cares either, honestly. And every pitcher is coming back from an injury these days, right? To snuff out a perfect game like that with that pitch count for some abundance of caution or eyes on the future or anything like that, in my mind, is just garbage. And we've talked about this. Everything that they've done to try and protect pitchers' arms has objectively failed. It's not to say that they're not trying extremely hard, but it has all failed. The state of pitching arms has never been worse in Major League Baseball. The Cubs have an entire playoff worthy front 5 on the injured list right now. The entire upper minors are a mess because teams simply cannot hold on to serviceable pitchers at that level because all of those guys are getting brevet promotions into service in the majors. It's not like these cautions and usage limits are working. And now apparently we can't even as fans enjoy the joy of a truly miraculous athletic accomplishment that we would be talking about for the rest of our lives. And Perez can't have it either. He was 6 outs away from immortality, and they just sat him down. And I hate that, man. I hate it so much. And the last thing about this, and you should probably find some way to make this a little bit lighter before we end the show, but the last thing is that the guy who replaced Eury Perez immediately gave up 5 hits and 5 runs, and the Marlins had to win this ugly slugfest 9-8.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for I can hold that. We can hold this together.
I
This
feel better
burden.
now.
Good. Yeah, I it's a good point that it's not really working. Like if the goal is to prevent injuries, failing. Uh I mean what it makes me think is, do we redefine the accomplishments? I mean, at this point, 7 perfect innings, he could, you close out that 7th inning and he could jump and scream and celebrate because he threw, you know, a perfect 7 innings. Like everything has shifted. The slide
Yeah.
rule, the slide rule of achievement has shifted. It's like wins don't matter anymore. Complete games don't matter anymore. Um, I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, but the wiffle ball rule where you can't throw it harder than a certain
Yes.
velocity, I'm not even against it.
Dude,
Um,
I think about it all the time now, and I have yet to hear why it's not at least a viable idea compared to everything else that's been tried. Like, these guys can throw less hard if they choose to.
yes.
Just
I
there's
think
no incentive.
yeah. I think, with baseball, with every rule and with every scenario and context, you have to decide, is this fun? Is this as fun as it could be? I think some of the recent rules increase the fun. The shift rule, I mean, who would ever think you'd even need a shift rule except they decided it's not fun enough? I think people are running out of patience for how unfun this whole scenario is. I think how hard it is to hit off of such velocity. Mizorowski, it's sort of fun to watch him throw hard, but then I think all of us just sit there and think his elbow's about to pop. And that's
Yeah,
not
any
fun.
day. Yeah.
That's not fun.
Yeah.
There's nothing fun about that. So, it's always to me, it's always a matter of calibrating. Like, oh, like, are we enjoying ourselves here? Is this really what we wanted? But it's baseball. You're allowed to shake your fists.
Hey, speaking of Mizorowski, this is great. I'll take us away from the dark side here. Um, he had a special game at the All-Star game, and this Pokemon glove had the Charmander in it. So I guess that's where he's going to plant his flag. Ultimately, you bring it to the All-Star game, right?
It's a big statement.
But I'm still on that beat. Don't think I'm not keeping an eye on him.
It's a big statement, and you've been watching and listening to Slap Hits. Hope you've enjoyed it. Uh, let's see. What should you do? Subscribe to Project 318 on Substack. That's Paul's amazing newsletter, Baseball History. Send us an email at clearthefieldpod@gmail.com. This has been Slap Hits. Thanks for watching.